This is Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Wakarkadash. Double honors to the elders of Great Millstone for preaching His word truthfully and sincerely. In the names of Yahweh, Bahashem, El Shai, Bahashem, Wakarkadash, and Shalom to the Akim, scattered through the four corners of the globe, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely as well too. In the names of Yahweh Bashem El Shai, Bahashem, Makarkadash. I say shalom to you Akim out there. And this is a sit-down lesson that I want to bring out from RT.com. And this was as of April 30th, 2023 from Business News, finance category. And it reads, India bankers describe dollar as a financial terrorist. It says the Uday Kate has urged New Delhi to try and make the rupee as a reserve currency. And keep this in mind too, as well too. I believe like about 4 or 5 days ago, I did a sit down lesson on India and Bangladesh. You know, they was coming with their own form of currency, as you know, they was turning away from the American dollar, as they was ditching the American dollar, as the other nations been doing it as of lately, you know, because we're entering this new digital currency, which is the central digital bank currency. So, you know, I just want to add a note to that as a prime example. And I'm gonna read it again. It says India banker described as the dollar as a financial terrorist. It says the Uday Kotak has urged New Delhi to try and make the rupee as a reserve currency. It says the US dollar has too much power as a reserve currency, which is currently have a good solid good value right now. But as of recently, you know, the nation's been turning away from the American dollar. They've been ditching the American dollar. As soon to come, you're gonna have the devalue of the decreasing of the value of the American dollar as we enter in this new form of currency, which is the central digital bank currency. And the United States as a top global greenback dollar reserve, soon to come, is not going to be dependent on as a global top currency reserve, as the nation's turning away from it, you know. And it says the U.S. dollar has too much power as a reserve currency in the world. It says desperately needs an alternative. Billionaire CEO of KOTAK. It says Maharda Bank, the Uday Kotak, said on Friday, if I pronounce the name right, but continue on with the reading. It says, speaking at the Economic Times Award, the Corporation Excellence of 2023, the bankers described the dollar as the biggest financial terrorist in the world. Wow. And it makes a lot of sense too, because, you know, the nations that the United States been putting these economic sanctions on and telling what these other countries to do. And not too long ago, you had the Treasury Janet Yellen. She made that statement that these economic sanctions that the United States is doing on these countries is going to potentially backfire on them. So that makes a lot of sense. But continuing on, I'm going to read it again for edification's sake. It says, speaking at the Economic Times Awards for Corporate Excellence 2023, the banker describes the dollar as the biggest financial terrorist in the world, as most global assets are held in dollars in so-called nostro accounts with U.S. banks that are entirely dependent on decisions made by American bankers and authorities, he explained. It says somebody in the United States can say you can withdraw this money from tomorrow morning and you are stuck. This the power of the reserve currency. KOTHK added. It says the world is therefore desperately looking for an alternative reserve currency. And I believe I did a sit-down lesson the day before yesterday, as China has represented itself as being one of those. That's why you're seeing the China been doing the latest reserve with Russia, China together, Russia and China together. I would say Brazil and China as well too. So how the way things are looking, because you've been having these other countries that's allies with one another as security, economic alliance with one another as they turn away and ditch the American dollar, and they finding alternative ways of currency, of new currency. They trying to. That's why you seeing the BRICS nations trying to de-dollarization of the American dollar. So it's going to be a new top global form of currency, and that might be potentially China on that list, as China and other nations are making an alliance with China and other nations as well too, ditching away from the American dollar. So that's a prime example right there. It says the world is therefore desperately looking for alternative reserve currency. He continues to suggest that India should seize the opportunity to make its own currency, the rupee, the reserve. And it says, it is time, it is our time for making a shot at will make us probably 10 years, he stated. In order to achieve its goals, India must learn to trust in other global players by buying strong financial institutes as a strong framework. This is not depending on the whims of fancies and anyone. Corte added that he does not see other strong contenders for the role. I don't think, right, the euro dollar as well too. As the nations, like I previously mentioned again, you have the nations are turning away from the American dollar and the euro dollar as well too, because the paper dollar for around the world for a witness is going to be the paper dollar is going to be a thing of the past. As the days progresses on, as we move forward, we're about to enter in that new form of currency, which is that central digital bank currency, like I mentioned before. It says, I don't think Europe can make their currency the reserve because the states are disunited. What's that scripture comes into mind? Mark 3 and 24. If a house be divided against itself, how should it stand? That's a prime example right there. I just want to add a note to that. It says, because its states are disunited, I don't think the UK or Japan have the heft to be taking the position. Both the British pound and the yen are free currency. China, I think, has the major issue or trust with many countries around the world, he said. It says in a tweet Saturday, Kortkat tries to further clarify his comments on the US dollar, explaining that he was referring to the overbearance of power that a reserve currency holds. This statute gives such a currency an ability to control global transactions, leading to its situation where other countries may become dependent on it. It says, in a recent discussion on the US dollar, I advertently used the word financial terrors, which I would like to correct. What I meant was that a reserve currency is disproportionate power, whether it is national account 500 base points, rates increasing emerging countries holding the dollar of liquidity, he wrote. And I'm going to bring out the scripture of the Revelations chapter 13, verse 16, as we entering this new phase of currency, which is the central digital bank currency, right along with the Fed now as well too. As once again, as I repeat, the nations are been turning away from the American dollar. And this is the book of Revelation, chapter 13, verse 16. And he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free or bond, to receive a M-A-R-K, which is the charagma, in their R-I-G-H-T-H-A-N-D, or in their F-O-R-E-H-A-D-S. And I'm going to go to the next verse. And it says, Revelation, chapter 13, verse 17. And that no man might buy or sell, say he had the M-A-R-K, which is the charagma, new form of currency. It says, or the name of the BEAST, which is this current system, or the name of his, or the number of his name. And this is Revelation chapter 13, verse 18, and it reads through the Holy Scriptures. Here is wisdom, let him have understanding. Count the number of the BEAST, which is his current system. For it is the number of a man, and his number is SIX 303 score. Yep, so we're getting closer and closer to that fully revealing of this MARK, which is going to be a new form of currency, the central digital game currency. So this was just a sit-down lesson that I want to bring out of this recent news article from RT.com, business news category from RT.com as of April 30th, 2023. Because, oh, matter of fact, yeah, today is the 30th, yep. As it says again, India banker describes dollar as financial terrorist. So with that, hopefully this was edifying, like I mentioned again. First and foremost, like give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai Ba'Shem, Wakar Kadash. Double honors to the elders of Great Millstone, preaching his word truthfully and sincerely. In the names of Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai Ba'Shem, Wakar Kadash. And Shalom to the Akim, scattered through the four corners of the globe, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. In the names of Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai Ba'Shem, Wakar Kadash. And until next time, I will say Shalom.